Hey, what's going on everybody? Lethal One here, and today I'm going to be doing a video, Resident Evil 3, what to expect and what we want from Resident Evil 3. After seeing that trailer, I have a bunch of ideas and I got some help today. You guys know him. I mentioned him in a couple videos. Today with me is...
Oh, it's my turn now? I'm sorry.
We leaving this in here too.
Oh really? Are we? Okay, we're going that route. Okay, it's a friendly neighborhood Ultra Spider Coal. I sound like I'm in a cave. It's actually the sewers of the Raccoon City. I'm down here. I'm with my pen and paper, trying to figure out all the stuff that's coming out for the next Resident Evil, just for you guys. I'm scared.
Yeah, watch out for those alligators down there. All right. So what I wanted to touch base on first is that Resident Evil 3, of course, it's, obviously is going to have enhanced graphics. We're going to have a new looking Jill. She's got a new outfit. Carlos looks different. Nemesis looks a lot more intimidating, and he even has a nose. So I think we got a Nemesis with a nose job. So, I mean, I don't know. If that's not scary to you, I don't know, man.
No, I'm terrified now.
Yeah, that nose though, like somebody had to point it out to me too, because I was like, what is that little flap right there? And then I noticed that he had a nose. You
know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of the really bad Freddy Krueger from like the last Freddy Krueger movie.
Yeah.
Like where his face was like half plastic.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that. But it's not like in a bad way. It's just the good version of it.
No,
like
I
if they actually tried.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, like if you don't pay attention, like you wouldn't even notice that nose was there. But Resident Evil 3, like, essentially is gonna be more action oriented than Resident Evil 2. Is gonna have the mechanics of Jill being able to dodge and roll out of the way in order to be able to, take on the Nemesis. It's what I'm anticipating, to be honest. I'm anticipating that they're gonna add like new mechanics into the game. I feel like she's gonna have new abilities that they are gonna be teasing sometime soon.
Yeah, but I honestly think that they'll do that. But I feel like because it's more action oriented, my favorite parts of like Resident Evil 2 was when they had you in close quarters and you had to fight your way through like the waves of zombies that they kept throwing at you. Survivor, I love Survivor, and if like the whole game feels like that where you're constantly have to fight back, I would really like that. But I don't want them to go like the Resident Evil 4 route where they kind of, which one was the one that 6? Like Resident Evil 6 route where it's just like an endless wave of zombies and you don't feel, it just feels like an action movie, not still horror. So, but I don't feel like they're gonna go that route. I feel more like they're gonna even it out.
And that's a very good point too. And that's what was great about Resident Evil 3 is because it was kind of like the last game of the trilogy that kind of kept the same play style, so to speak. It was action oriented, but it wasn't like the Resident Evil 6. And I know what you were getting at. Resident Evil 6, it was like all action, and you never felt like you were in any danger because it was like you felt like you were like a superhero almost. Like, for the record, I don't like Resident Evil 6 playstyle. That's just for the record.
Yeah, but like this Resident Evil, especially because it's built on the same engine, it's gonna just copy and paste those things of having to shoot exactly what you need to shoot. Zombies are still coming after you. Even after you load them with bullets, they're still going to keep moving. So I really like that they still have the pure mixture of action and horror still like built into it.
Yeah. And going out on a record, I think Resident Evil 3 was kind of one of the scariest games in the series. Nemesis was scary, but there's other things in the game that's horrifying as well. So it's not just Nemesis. This is just one of those games that, and that's another thing I want to say too. I feel like Resident Evil 3 is kind of like the black sheep of the series. A lot of people say Code Veronica is, but I feel like Code Veronica was a true sequel to part 2. I always felt in my mind that Resident Evil 3 was kind of like, okay, they had a contract with Sony. They had to make this game. But there's a lot into it that they put into it. A lot of things, a lot of questions were answered. But that's what I want to talk about now too, is I feel like just from the trailer alone that a lot of the questions that we had for part 3 will be answered in this remake. One example is like in the very beginning of the trailer, we see that Jill's being chased through her apartment, and it looks like Mr. X is chasing her down, and she ends up in the street. In Resident Evil 3, the original game, she's just in the street, and we're like, what's happening? How did she get there? So they answered that off the bat.
Yeah, they'll most likely answer a lot more stuff because even in Resident Evil 2, there was a lot of things where they put a lot more things to light with what I heard. There's a lot of things that are kind of just half-assed in there, and they seems like they fixed some of that in the remake. But at the same time, there are parts that don't really make sense, like how when you play from both the A and B side of both Leon and Claire, they're both fighting the same monster that you killed, but they never interact with each other, which is the one thing that I hope they change if they go with more of a split side like this. I hope they give more of a different story between both of them. Or if they do come together, it's actually something where you can see the other person, and it's not just why is the other person just randomly there.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's a lot of things they have, but at the same time, there's a lot in part 2, like especially since the one police officer, we figured out how they came up with like the escape route. Unfortunately, we had to see his guts hanging out. That wasn't even explained in the original Resident Evil 2. But Resident Evil 3, there's a lot of things that's just in there, need some explaining.
I probably should have said this more from the beginning of the video, but coming in as a new Resident Evil player, I'm more excited to see what's going to happen in the story. Like most people that play this Resident Evil, they already played the old Resident Evils. I never personally could get into the tank controls. Like I could play like the original Metal Gear, because that had like a slightly better control to it, and even like the original Silent Hill, I could play that too. It's just something about like the super close quarters of Resident Evil I was never able to like get around. So I like how I could now play all these old Resident Evils, but completely refurbished and redone, so other people like me that couldn't get into that type of gameplay could actually play them and enjoy the whole arc of Resident Evil.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because like me as a fan, like as a diehard fan of Resident Evil, I'm excited for you. Like I'm excited for new players to, get into the story and see what they missed out on back in the day, because there's a lot there. There's a lot of lore. There's a lot of, it's just Resident Evil is well done. And yeah. And that's what I wanted to tell you too, is it's like they mentioned Umbrella at the end of the trailer. Looks like we're gonna get more insight of what happened and why did they turn bad. A lot of people don't know that Umbrella was the good guys at first. Eventually in part 7 they went, as a matter of fact, Stars was created and funded by Umbrella. So for them to it's like for them to like in the end, like just turn their back, like, oh, let's get rid of Stars. I thought that was kind of weird, but I think this is gonna go more into the story. Another thing that I want to mention real fast is Kendall, the gun shop owner. I think he's gonna be a major role in this game, as well as Marvin. Now, Marvin, the police officer who he saves Leon or Claire, whoever you play in part 2. The biggest question I always had with Resident Evil 3 is how the hell did he, that injury that he has, that ultimately turns him into a zombie. How the heck did he get that? Like, that didn't come from a zombie. I have a personal theory. I have a theory that he got hurt trying to maybe help Jill, like maybe try to save Jill. And I think the Nemesis probably got to him. Which will make more sense because zombies don't bite people in the stomach, and he was like holding his stomach like the whole time. I think that'll be answered. And plus he had like a DLC leak too. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, with like apparently it's supposed to be like coming out soon.
We'll probably get more insight of what happened to him.
Another thing I know that's coming though for Resident Evil is that apparently to not to jump so hard, but for Nemesis himself, I heard he's supposed to be having more ways to track you down than what the Tyrant did. Because the Tyrant, with what I think, wasn't it just if you shot or made any loud noise, he would just follow the noise? So I'm wondering now for like this, if he'll have like little booby traps where if you walk past it, he'll detect where you're at. Like something like you know how Death Stranding has its the beacons, how the mules find you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something like that. Maybe just like or a camera or something, or I don't know. Because they did say he's supposed to have more than one way of being able to track you down. Or more ways.
And that would make sense, and that'd be perfect because, you know, technically he's the most advanced Tyrant. So like he can think, you know, he should be able to take advantage of like traps and technology because he uses a rocket launcher. He uses guns and stuff. So I think that's very interesting. It is horrifying as well. That's what you can expect from this game too. It's going to be way more scary. It's going to be way more brutal in certain situations. Nemesis is no joke. Another survival mode too, like you mentioned earlier, that'd be good. I like survival mode. Maybe we can get Hunk back in there, Jill and Carlos as the survivors, and that'll be fun. But
so like what, like a whole pre-Hunk situation where he has to get into the facility, and then the second game is like him getting out.
Yeah, that I enjoyed it. Hunk is one of my favorite characters too.
I think Hunk is like everyone's favorite character. He's like the Pyro from TF2. Everyone just loves him. He
had to go against the G virus head to head, and he was able to like pull it off. Like he's the only member of Umbrella besides the Stars that completed every mission without fail. So I just think that's pretty interesting. Like maybe he'll switch sides later. Who knows? Like maybe he'll switch sides and fight for good. That'd be nice.
Maybe he thinks that is good. Who knows?
You know what? Thinks the Stars went rogue. Who knows? But I think that's very interesting. But I
personally feel though like they're remake, because they're also rewriting a lot of the story to like not major parts, but enough where a lot of people are like, that was very different from how they did before. I'm wondering if they're just planning to add all this for like the next Resident Evil 8. I feel like what they're doing is just having all these different things. So the Resident Evil 8 is just like a massive, just nostalgia fest of just all the old new characters or whatever it is, all the new things that are going to be happening.
Bro, that'll be so like, you know what? That'll be like the ultimate love letter to the fans, you know, like everybody got to relive the Resident Evil series. And I hope they do Code Veronica as well. Like, I hope they do. I don't think they need to do 4 and 5 and 6, of course. But if they do Code Veronica, like a remake of that, I would be happy.
Which one was the one that was like PlayStation 2, but it was like multiplayer?
That was Outbreak. And that's what Project Resistance reminds me of. I never got into Outbreak. I think there was 2 Outbreak games, and it's basically the same thing. It's like a 4-player co-op, and I have that, by the way. Me and Mo was gonna try to play it, but we can never get 4 players. But it's just 4 people working together to complete objectives and try to stay alive.
I think the one other thing that I'm very excited for is just for Resident Evil 2, my favorite parts was when they actually got you outside of the building. So actually being able, with what I hear, it's more oriented throughout the whole city. So being able to just play that, I'm excited to see what more of the whole city, seeing all of everything just decayed and just empty, just zombies everywhere in the middle of the streets. I am very excited to see that. That is something I just love when they make stuff like that. I can't wait. Cannot wait. You're gonna love it, trust me, because that's basically what it is. It's like a ghost town almost, and it's not just zombies out there either. There's like, because like I don't want to spoil it for you. I can't wait for you to react to it. Hopefully you make a video of it. But there's a lot of stuff outside in these abandoned city streets. So yeah, you'll definitely appreciate it. Oh God.
But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. If you guys don't know who Ultra Cole is, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Please check him out. You know, subscribe, like his videos, Do the same for mine. I hope you enjoyed this. Press a like, subscribe for more content, and I will catch you guys next time.
I need a like and subscribe to get out of this raccoon sewers. There's no doors. There's nothing. There's alligators. I need help getting out.
There you have it, guys. You got to help him get out of there. Till next time, guys. Peace.